Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the grand finals between Techno Goose and Metal Swarm. It's 1-1 in the best of 5, so we got at least 2 more games ahead of us here. We got at least one new, actually, maybe 2 new builds. I know somebody else has had one of them in another game, but I don't know if we cast it or not. Pardon me. Do your thing, Adam.
Okay.
Wake up.
I'm awake, I swear.
Let's go.
Mr. MaximusBlack.
Yes.
Hit me up with that over here on the left side of Bridgehead LE, we have the one, the only, the man who brought it back from basically having his entire supply shreked to high hell. Techno Goose, and over here on the right side we have Metal Swarm, who I thought, honest to God, had that last game in the bag after doing said supply wrecking, until I realized that, unfortunately, Techno Goose had already built up all of his Ultralisks.
That's right.
If it had happened just a couple of minutes prior,
would have been a different game.
GG no re.
Okay, so let's get right into the builds. Metal Swarm got slow, but deadly. Player may defend with anything, but all aggressive attacks can only be done with these units: Swarm Hosts, Broodlords, and Corruptors. Slow, but deadly. So those are the 3 that you can use.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
It's called slow but deadly.
Okay.
And Techno Goose got Transformers. Can only build units that can transform / switch modes. So, tanks, Thors, Hellions / Hellbats, and Vikings. Player must transform after every engagement and keep all units that way until the next engagement. So, for example, if they are rushing Hellions, they can go and attack, then they have to transform for the engagement, and then for their next engagement, they have to become Hellions again. You understand? So for each engagement, they have to transform.
Okay. All right.
Make sense?
I got you.
It's a little complicated, so I mean, if they screw it up a little bit, I went through the rules with him. He said pretty sure he understands. Can be a little complicated, especially in the heat of the moment, but we'll keep an eye on it. But it's one that I basically copied and pasted from the suggestions that we had. So we'll see how it goes.
That is correct.
So I guess while we're waiting for this, we'll give our shout outs. LootCrate.com. Pick up your subscription, 10% off using the promo code BOUS. G2A.com, 3% off by using the promo code BOUS. And JORD Wood Watches, 5% off by using the promo code BOUS. And giveaways for all of them in the description below. Please, it's free to enter, and the sponsors love it when you guys are engaging in these giveaways. It's what they give us prizing for. So go ahead and do it.
It's kind of important.
We're not asking you to go and follow them on Twitter or, you know, subscribe to their YouTube channels or whatever. It's as easy as just entering in. That simple.
It's actually just
no catch.
No.
That's the show.
There is 0 catch.
That is the show. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of a build up here, probably for both players, especially Metal Swarm. Adam, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to turn on the AC because it's starting to get a little hot down here.
Really?
Yeah. So you go ahead and be the caster.
I had no idea it was getting warm down here.
30 seconds. It is to me.
I've got my sweater on, so I guess I'm prepared for AC. So how are you guys doing? You guys good? There's absolutely nothing happening in the match right now that we could talk about, so it's kind of an unfortunate situation to be passed over to. I hope you guys are all enjoying the tournament. We've had a really great time, lots of long games for sure, but none particularly bad. And so I do hope you've been enjoying yourselves. At this time, it just seems like, as you would expect, Metal Swarm is macroing up as best he possibly can, and same goes for Techno Goose. Neither gentleman are going to be able to do a heck of a lot with what they've got for the next few minutes, and so we shall wait until something exciting happens. I'm actually kind of impressed that air conditioning is being put on right now. Did you work up a sweat running upstairs?
No, it's 21 degrees in here, so it's pretty hot. I just put it down to 19.
Oh, okay.
It's only 2 degrees less.
I'm used to my office being like...
Yeah, see, I'm not. I'm used to
like
it...
40.
I'm used to it either being really hot to the point where I turn it down, or really cold I like being cold, so
Right. Oh, okay.
I just like sitting cold. But I won't get too chilly.
No.
So, not a whole lot is
That was basically what I get to say for the last like 30 seconds was, well, we have absolutely nothing to talk about because both gentlemen are just sitting back and macroing up.
Well, we've literally it's kind of fucky, but we've actually straight casted every game without talking about life or any other weird story.
Really weird.
And it just dawned on me that LAGTV is not really LAGTV. It's like we're having fun, of course. Maybe it's just because there's been so much action happening.
Well, it hasn't been so much downtime that we've had to fill it in with our usual bantery shit, so I guess maybe this is the time that ends up happening to a degree.
So anything new and exciting going on in life?
I'm going to be, like we already talked about, putting together quite a hell of a basement setup for streaming. Gonna have office set up downstairs with multiple green screens and a love seat with a TV down there for console gaming.
Fancy.
Gonna have a stack. Like I'm dead. It's gonna be full blown stack of like freaking for the consoles where I'm gonna have HDMI switches and splitters so that everything is just done. So I'm just pressing the button, change from one console to the next on the fly. There's no more of this fucking around with a spaghetti monster. It's gonna be done once. It's gonna be done right.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be done. And it's gonna be GG. So hanging green screens from the ceiling and everything else is gonna be quite fancy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, here comes the first attack. Hellions coming in. And he's going to
So when does he have to transform?
So, let's see here. Must switch modes. Player must transform after every engagement. So
okay, so he has to do this and then transform.
So, yeah, so he does this and then he can
whatever survives
he can transform.
Okay.
If he wanted to, he can go in and poke and then run away and then transform.
I feel like the better thing would have been that he has to transform first, and then once the battle starts, he transforms to go into battle.
No, I guess that it can be done too.
Whichever he feels he needs, he should be the opposite so that he can transform before going into battle.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Hey, I just copy and pasted the thing.
Blame that user.
I'm blaming him
for everything.
Hey, it's
whoever
just,
it was.
It's just Hellions. I mean, he's still just going Hellions. There's a lot of different.
He's got an uphill battle to fight just because of the fact he's going Hellions.
I mean, he's got Thors. He's got siege tanks. He's got Vikings. I mean, there's a lot of different units that he can go ahead and use for this. So it's not the end of the world. I'm sure we will see a lot of Vikings once the Broodlords come out into play.
Yes.
As for Swarm Hosts, what do you think his answer is going to be for Swarm Hosts?
Honest to God, I don't think he has an answer for Swarm Hosts. I mean, all he's going to be able to do against Swarm Hosts is basically, because he can defend with anything.
I guess he can hold and drop. That's it.
Like he could drop the best he could hope for is a drop of his Hellions directly on top to get rid of them.
Luckily, this guy is deciding to go Broodlords. So obviously Vikings, hard counter Broodlords.
Yes.
You are allowed Corruptors. The reason why the original build, it didn't allow Corruptors, but I added those in because it would be impossible for this guy to win if all he's going is Broodlords and Swarm Hosts. He wouldn't be able to defend against anything. If the guy went anti-air, he could have nothing that could shoot it, right? So that's why we added in the Corruptors.
Well, yeah. I guess it's a good thing then.
Yeah.
But he's going in for round 2.
Round 2 it is. There are the Hellions. These are fresh new Hellions, so he could run out right now and transform if he wanted to, but
or
really
just get ripped.
Come on, start shooting these. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
A couple of drone kills, but really not worth in my books. I just think he's fine time getting information. Not really a whole lot. I think his main thing is he's going to need some Thors. And there's some Thors there. Here. He's got a couple of Hellbats in there, but I'm not going to moan about it. He's going Transformer.
Right. What are the Thors transform thing
again? They've got like
the cannon things.
Yes,
I forgot it because nobody ever uses them, so I forgot that it existed.
But it's an upgrade. I forget the name of it, but yeah, there is one.
Anal Fister mode.
Yeah, anal Fister mode. Great.
That's what it reminds me of anyway, I suppose. So yeah, I mean, this is perfectly fine. I mean, I thought for a moment that he was reduced to nothing but Hellions. I was like, holy shit, that's
no. Siege tanks, Thors.
Okay, well,
and Vikings.
So mech essentially for all intents and purposes.
Exactly.
So I mean, he's in great shape then. If that's the case, my God, he's in perfect shape. And when it comes to dealing with the swarm hosts, if he ever gets
He's gonna need a lot of tanks, right? I mean, just to blow up the locusts.
Tanks are just the answer to the locusts. So, you know, I think he's fine. A couple of Thors to protect the tanks, and I think he's okay. So yeah, I mean, this is gonna be the slowest. I'm even impressed that they allow the Hellions to break that rock with just fire.
There must be some really hot Hellions right there.
That is some hot freaking fire. That is a sick fucking mixtape to be knocking down that rock, because my God, that rock is made up of some seriously soft and flammable material.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think he's fine, and I think that I think this is Metal Swarm's gain. I think this is technically his gain to lose, I think. Just based on the builds. Now that he's seen these Broodlords, I think Vikings are just going to be the immediate answer to this.
Yep. Question is, he doesn't have
has he not built one starport?
So that right there,
RIP,
might actually be a GG scenario.
Yeah, that's going to be awfully hard to do anything about.
He is going to counter though. This will be a base race. This will be a base race.
So I guess up to this point, there wasn't a heck of a lot of scouting by Techno, other than his Hellions, I guess. Yeah. So no wonder. So if he had known about the Broodlords earlier, that would have been triggered him to do something differently. Of course, Vikings are still possible as a thing.
Yep.
For transforming.
Yep.
He's got the blue flame going on in there. He's doing a lot of damage with this, and it might actually force Metal Swarm to turn around.
Yeah, and I know some people will probably sit here and complain that this guy didn't transform or when he didn't transform. I'm not being all that anal about the build, because it is kind of worded weirdly, and the rules are pretty. It
could have been worded a bit more.
Either way, as long as he's going units that transform,
and
I'm fine.
He's been using the Hellions in both forms, and it's close enough.
I'm totally fine with that.
Close enough. So the Broodlords.
LAGTV. Let's have some fun.
A couple of Broodlords are back home, actually helping clean up that attacking force, but he's just going straight down from one base to another to bring as much damage as he can.
Yep.
These tanks are going to just walls around in circles until they taste the bittersweet taste of death. So at this point, it's Blue Flame Hellions versus Broodlords.
Yeah, but there's more here. So this is pretty much it. He just didn't prepare for the Broodlords. He didn't scout, right?
Like many games in these CES tournaments, like I keep saying and have said and will continue to say over and over again, scouting is probably the most important thing, even more so than a regular game of Starcraft.
Yep.
Simply because you need to be able to, if you can't immediately spot a build, you need to be able to
find
know
out
what gimmick is coming your way.
Yeah. And I mean, Vikings is the perfect counter against Broodlords, and they can obviously go down and shoot as well. And the majority of the supply wasn't Broodlords, so if you kill those off with Vikings, you can go counter land and deal massive amounts of damage. So a little bit of more of a one-sided game, simply because of the lack of scouting. Metal Swarm takes it. It is going to be 2-1.
2-1 for Metal Swarm.
Metal Swarm is going to be going for the victory if he can win the next game. We will find out here in just a moment. We'll be right back right after this.